it is down to Empire to show that they can take coastline just fine, and if they do, it's going to be a really scary story here for Liquid going this. But op bans also going to be key on that. Will they waste an attacker ban on Ashe on joystick? It's hard to say.
Team Empire going to start out by banning Ying. Pretty standard, considering they don't use a lot of operators that require a lot of coordination or extracurricular utility. They're very simple in their strategies and their operator picks.
Well, there's a target against Scyther, who's been playing a very good Zofia a lot of the time. And a ban you just don't see that often these days, despite the pick rates slightly being higher during the Invitational group stages than we see during Pro League. Jaeger there being a ban that we have seen in the past on this map, although, if I remember correctly, it was from Liquid, and so no surprise to see them do it again. We'll see, there we go. Pretty much the defender bans matching what we expect from these two teams, but the attacker bans are a bit different this time. Should be fun to see if those actually have a significant effect on the play. But it does mean a joystick can be running without Ashe, although we could see him, maybe just getting comfortable playing something else for once. And whether that be Jackal or IQ or something else that his team happens to need him on. Either way, though, you got to give him a 3-speed operator, preferably.
Yeah, that's one of the things about joystick is he is most notorious for running Ashe if it's available. If it's been banned out, he'll most likely swap to the Jackal. And then on defense, he's a pure-blooded Jaeger main.
Yeah, so it's going to be a bit of a struggle for him having to play something else on defense. If they could take quite a few good initial rounds here on defense, that bodes very well for them, because then he gets to play his preferred attacker at least.
Starting out with a hookah and billiards defense with a 6-pick from Scyther and Sexy Cake apiece, IQ to a Glass, and over to the Echo from the Maestro. And it's interesting that both of those informational and plant delay and denial ops are still allowed for them. The operator bans are quite intriguing to me. Mirror is pretty standard, takes away your Pent Theater defense, but everywhere else is still viable. The Jaeger, I imagine nades will most likely be
they're hoping those smokes come in very easily. They're hoping those both from Glass and Dokkaebi make a huge difference in them being able to plant, because this is a bomb site. You absolutely need smokes to plant it successfully. If they're also going to be running the Glass with that, even more reason you need those smokes. But I think that Echo 6 pick is really going to help with that, because they are going to have the ability to see from above the smoke. No, it's not perfect. It won't see people inside the smoke, but you can get a good guess where they are inside that smoke. Fire a few shots off. Yeah, you only get 2 free recharge, but if he keeps both on site, he certainly could deny. And Joystick looking for some early pain, unfortunately, not finding the shots. Either way, though, that is down to Gohan at least half health, and that's more than enough to do some damage.
Joystick trying to set the tempo early, and it looks like we need a rehost.
Yeah, minor problems there. Not sure what's going on, but that's going to give both teams a chance to really think about that 6th pick if they're able to gauge what they were. More likely than not, they were able to discern the 6th pick of that Doc coming out there from Joystick. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't the 6th pick Joystick, but the Echo. Depending on whether or not the drones were able to get close enough into it, but it's very doubtful the defenders knew what the 6th pick was for the attackers. So we'll see if that factors in, because the Glass is definitely going to be an important part of the sneakiness of this play. Although at some point he's likely to give himself away with the gunshot sound. But of course, either team can change what they actually play as. It's just a matter of whether or not they have that information to discuss during this rehost.
Well, I imagine, as is typical with the rehost, all the operators will be the same, the objective will be the same. Not really sure what caused the rehost there, but we will press on. Also, you were talking about how the Echo drones wouldn't be able to see through the smoke, but Joystick, having to swap off his trusty Jaeger role and pick up a Doc, was bringing a bulletproof camera that he slapped right on the reinforcement.
Certainly will help with that. Yeah, and that's something we've seen from a lot of teams, especially with Maestro being banned so often. You need something to be able to see through those, and there are quite a few other operators that can bring bulletproof cameras, but he's probably the most reliable, as he was generally picked more often than not over Rook for his gadget, in this case barbed wire. Once they gave him the bulletproof camera and that slowly caught on, that has kind of become the trend at the moment, and you stick other people on barbed wire, but it's always a toss-up for Smoke, because more often than not he is bringing barbed wire, but we're seeing the impact of impact grenades really kind of making it more of a decision than it used to have to be.
Just awaiting everyone getting back into lobby and get underway. But I think you're right, banning out the Jaeger most definitely will instigate a lot of these smoke plants to come through, and the loss of the Ying is pretty instrumental, honestly, in trying to execute some of those smoke plans back.
It really should speed up these rounds in theory, but I think it makes flanks that much more impactful because when you get the smokes out, the attackers can't see through the smoke either except for Glaz. So they're going to be very, very focused on their site execute. If you can take out or get by some of those flank holds, or just perhaps not get caught on the drones, there's a good chance we could see, say, a roaming Doc coming out from Joystick to sneak up because he's always extremely mobile, even if he's on a 1-speed. I have a feeling his potential flank would be the biggest weakness they have here because they're going to be focused on an earlier execute with those smokes since they don't have to burn Jaeger's ADSs.
So, with Empire starting out on defense as well, Coastline has been an interesting map to follow as far as trends are concerned. For the last season and a half or so, Coastline has been extremely attacker-sided, one of the most attacker-sided maps in the comp pool. And as soon as we came into this new season, Season 9, with the lack of Lion being available, or a possibility to just be insta-banned out, a lot of maps, almost every single map in the game now, has trended defensive-sided because of that information-gathering meta that we are currently in. So Coastline's a tricky one. It used to be you never want to start on defense on Coast. You want to start and run up the scoreboard on your attacks, and even if you get down while starting on defense, you don't have to worry too much. Yeah.
I mean, it's also the case where they did ban out an important operator for the defense here in that Jaeger, not just for the utility, but for the way that Joystick plays on it, is because of that flank potential. This is already a map where getting those long roam flanks are already difficult to pull off unless you get an attacker just very focused on site execute themselves or not doing a good enough job on flank watch. And so it's all the more important that he has a 3-speed to make that sneak around because he's so mobile, so flexible in doing so. This is going to be very, very difficult on their defense to do so, which means we may see a lot of turtling coming out from Empire in these initial few rounds, but it's going to be something they're going to have to figure out. Luckily for them, this rehost will give them a chance, if they were not expecting that Jaeger ban, to start to rethink some of their defensive strategies in terms of what will Joystick play, because it was always just a given that he would play Jaeger. More often than not, it was Ash ban against him, not Jaeger. So this is going to be a little bit of a monkey wrench for them.
Yeah, this is one of the rare instances in which Jaeger has been banned against Joystick. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get back underway on Coastline. Map number 1 between Liquid and Team Empire. Rehost is completed, and we'll go back to 0-0 on round 1. But like I said, operators will be the same, objective will be the same. We will press on with the exact same operator bans and try and do this again.
Yeah, shouldn't be too many surprises here. Sexy Cake, though, almost accidentally picking to the Glaz to start out with. There we go. We'll get their picks underway, though. Again, they have to pick the same operator in the end, but they don't have to show those same picks early on. Whether or not they got spotted out doesn't necessarily factor into that. They're just going to go for the 6 picks for safety. In case it didn't get spotted, might as well continue to hide it, especially with the time that they had to think about things. You want to take advantage of anything you have there. And we do see that looks like we have barbed wire on the smoke, just relating to the discussion from earlier on whether or not he would have that. And as you mentioned, the bulletproof camera is going to be coming out from that dock. Nice thing now is we can see the full loadouts on both sides of the screen here. On this ginormous screen is something we usually don't have, so it's for us casters especially a nice touch. Helps out with that in terms of not having to call out the spectator info switches for us.
Well, using some of that new utility we have as casters, we can see that Shockwave on the Legion is bringing a deployable shield, which is possibly one of the weirdest loadouts you can bring a deployable shield with, considering the impacts are crucial at making successful rotates on this map. The walls inside of Hookah don't like to cooperate with shotguns very well.
Yeah, they didn't bring any impacts, which is a very odd choice because you do want to make some of those destructible holes. They do have a smoke shotgun to be able to do that, and I suppose they're going to be relying on that a bit, but that can take quite a while, not to mention you run low on ammo. You can see he's already getting fairly low, and chances are you may need to use that in a fight because his pump has been the game ender or the round ender for a lot of fights these days.
Well, Liquid starting out pretty standard, to be honest, moving from west entrance, or main entrance, sorry, on the east side, and pushing over, and I imagine, yes, Nesk will be hopping up on the pink tarp outside of Hookah window. Probably one of the most popular spots nowadays to try and flush anyone out from in behind the Hookah bar, most typically a Smoke, who's playing for late game in any of those aquarium pushes, but it looks like Nesk is more concerned with, I guess, a call coming out that there is an operator tucked inside the corner of Hookah, right behind benches, and that's a very aggressive and not very standard position for Shockwave to be playing, but it could catch Liquid off guard if they're not careful.
It is fun to see this site go from probably the least played when Coastline kind of came into the meta, to now one of the most played in the sense that teams really know how to defend this well, can do so because of that bomb spot you see right there and the holes in the floor. Gonna make it hard to try and get this plant down because you almost always have to plant that default spot. But with 4 smokes available, it is possible they could go for a pool table plant or some of the more risky plants that require a lot of smoke coverage to do. You don't necessarily need the smokes, as many smokes to just cover your body, but the more smokes you could throw, the harder it is for that Echo player specifically to guess where you might be playing out for the plant itself, because stunning someone who's not the planner is just not going to be effective.
You got a double stack out on the aquarium balcony from Zig and Sexy Cake, and you also had Joystick roaming downstairs with Sunrise Bar. Here come the first set of smokes coming out, and they'll rip right into the aquarium bar to safety, and Paula holds their flank. So here comes that aquarium push, and Nesk, we got the first kill of the match against Shepard. That's the smoke too, gone early without deploying any utility. Joystick trying to go for a run out, battling back and forth with Gohan, but he comes out worse for wear. Shockwave with a great peek on a purple tarp to take down Nesk. So response back in a level man count at 50 seconds remaining. Joystick still inside of the Sunrise entrance, doing battle with Gohan back and forth, pulling a tight angle as Gohan, and he'll win it out on a Joystick with the SMG-11. Puts Empire back in a man disadvantage. The Nitro Cell will not connect on any intended targets, and now the Echo drones will be the only plant denial left with 30 seconds left and smoke smothering the bomb site. There's not a lot left to be done here for Empire other than bull rushing everyone when they try to go for the plant attempt.
Yeah, those early smokes now kind of backfiring on them. Yeah, they managed to get some early picks onto Joystick and to Shepard, but Shepard was really the important kill of those two. They still don't have a lot for Glass to work with, as he doesn't have any of his own smokes left either. So Karjeka, though, finally getting pinched out of shock as well in his fights.
Trades back and forth with 10 seconds remaining. It leaves Scyther now in a 1v2, battling back and forth on a crouch-peeking Sexy Cake behind a deployable shield. And the Echo drone watching, oh, he might be able to get this. Scyther, the plant going down by Zig. And Scyther will stop it with the Yokai. Empire will take round number 1. What a beautiful clutch there from Scyther, playing the patient game, using his utility perfectly. And Liquid not aggressing for that kill in the dying moments.
That's exactly what they needed. Without the smoke and play, the only real denial they had was those Echo drones, and that's the smart way to play it. The nice thing about having 2 of them and no IQ being played is there's a very good chance you get to keep at least 1 alive. Not sure how pre-placed those were, but those certainly factored in to his ability to win this. Nesk, it was a great kill there. Something I talk about a lot is just not enough pressure on that window very often, and that's exactly what you need to do, put pressure on him when he's focused on stopping it. The early smokes they threw out did help with that because they distracted Smoke into thinking, are they going for a rush plant? Do I need to be prepared to throw those toxic canisters? Gave a perfect opportunity for Nesk to tag him from behind, so great coordination there. But in the end, they did nothing about the Yokais, and that was really what cost them. Interesting though, we will see this round, they are going to be bringing the Maestro instead of the Echo, so they're going to have the ability to see through that smoke without depending on Doc's bulletproof camera. They're not going to be bringing the bulletproof camera on Vigil either, but they will finally have impact aids this round.
Good decisions, like I said. The walls on Coastline at the bottom anyway are not favorable to shotgun blasts for forming rotations and map manipulation. You really need an impact at the bottom of most of those walls.
Especially for Joystick. If he's going to be mobile and sneak around a bit better this time, not just get stuck in a gunfight against Sledge this time, that is really going to be a big factor. Also, his ability to stay away from drones as much as possible will offer some opportunity to counter the plant if it goes to come down. Because again, that Glaz and Dokkaebi combo with 4 sets of smokes is really tough to deal with. Last time, though, they kind of mismanaged their smoke play. Yes, they did get the pick on smoke because of it, but I don't know if it was really worth it in terms of lack of coverage towards the end.
Well, it would be a far side pushover once again for Liquid, spawning main entrance on the east side, and most likely take the exact same pathing. They'll just realize that the bomb site is downstairs as opposed to top floor, but essentially in the same location on the map. And I imagine Joystick will be out. What? Why?
All right. Well, there's that.
It's so unnecessary. Why would you do that?
Joystick actually sticking above sight here at the moment, though. These little peek holes definitely going to be a problem because you can't really drone out exactly where he's at. Yes, you know he might be behind one of them, but in that split second, when you're deciding which one, you're likely dead at that point. You're going to have to hope to get a lucky shot, and he's more than likely going to shoot you before you even finish coming around a corner. So tough to deal with here. Pal's going to go look to potentially take VIP or Penthouse first. You see the drone there from Sexy Cake helping him clear out VIP, but there is a spot there. He's going to have to deal with it. Unfortunately for him, his drone all the way downstairs.
You can see a 3-man hold right now for Empire top side. Karjeka, Scyther, and Joystick currently manning the top floor inside of Billiards, Hookah, and Cool Vibe stairs. And Scyther's moved downstairs to join the rest of the team. So it's now a 2-man hold. Joystick and Karjeka, the usual duo, roaming upstairs. And Joystick with a flurry of pre-fires, but none of them will connect. They'll just delay Gohan's entry into hookah. And that's exactly what Gohan wants to do. Get in here, rip up the floorboards, displace the anchors from their powerful positions in behind the bar and inside of Cubby.
Well, it is definitely slow going for the attack this time compared to last time, but an early kill there, plus some good damage on Joystick and Scyther means this is again sliding the way of Liquid, not to mention they have the most important fraggers like Glaz still alive. Joystick cannot seem to get the kill, just hold them off as long as possible, but hey, a minute burned is still going to be very useful because they need that top floor control for a solid execute.
You can see Shockwave flexing up Cool Vibe stairs in support of Joystick, and they're still holding out inside of Cool Vibes, inside of Hookah right now. There is no contestation right now from Liquid, even though they have the man advantage, and time dwindling away now from Liquid. Slow going on the advances, but Nesk has slowly made his way into Office to try and pressure from the backside, while the rest of his team is pushing from the Sunrise entrance. And contention through that drone hole at the bottom of the stairs from Shockwave with that Alda. It's a lot of shots, even though it's at the feet. Pretty close range will rip you up with that fire rate. And lots of punch holes used to distract Paula, and that will completely facilitate Joystick's escape over towards the Office hatch, and he might be able to drop straight on Nesk if he's not prepared.
Well, this is completely dependent on the smoke working out with the C4s and the toxic canisters working against him. There's 2 kills in the trade back by Gohan.
13 seconds down, it's down to a 3v2 in favor of Liquid. Joystick trying to rush out, but he spots the man inside of Kitchen. A lance of pre-fires will not connect, pulling out the CZ close range, but the plant will go down by Liquid. Zig will shut down Joystick. It's all down to Shepard now, who was just previously on drone moments ago. 1v3 for Shepard to work his way out of. No utility left other than the bullets left in his guns, and he's trying to slowly press his way out of the blue bar doorway, but there's a crossfire from Gohan and Sexy Cake trying to establish a 1v1. Shepard will win it out onto Gohan, now turning his attention back towards Sunrise. A 5 HP Sexy Cake laying him prone behind the bar. Oh, what a shot by Shepard! All he has left is Zig laying prone right on the other side of the bar from him. He has no idea, doesn't even know where the plant is. He's gonna hop up on the bar behind him, twisting and turning in the wind, and Zig will win it out just barely on the hip fire with the SMG-12. A game of cat and mouse ends up with Liquid drawing level at 1 apiece.
The ironic part is, had he looked down first, easily would have had that kill. It is funny, too, to see Shepard going from the first to die to the last to die at the end of the round. Definitely clutchable for him, though, despite the 3v1 situation. Just down to misplays. Lack of information clearly is what cost him there. They did not know where he was laying, but some great plays by both teams in terms of whittling down the kills, especially towards the end of the round, just delaying long enough that the desperation came out for smoke plants from Liquid. But I am impressed they were able to at least get the plant down in all that chaos, some of that due to just how many people were playing off-site, especially with Joystick being cut off by that kitchen crossfire, eventually losing his life as he tried to peek it. So we'll see if they're going to try bar again. Might be able to pull it off this time.
Back to Sunrise Bar and Blue Bar, like you said, and it's a case of Empire getting caught up in that top hold, just investing too much utility and manpower topside for a little too long. They did their job installing it out, but once that site execute came in through the Sunrise entrance doorway, there wasn't a lot to repel it on the side of Empire, and they just got overwhelmed on the objective and attempted to retake. A beautiful attempt there by Shepard. By no means was he any slouch on that round. However, just the manpower was not there to try and counteract that 20-second push that Liquid facilitating through the Sunrise entrance, and that's kind of been the theme for Liquid throughout the group stage, honestly. Their time management has been a little suspect lately.
Now, I wouldn't read too much into the first 2 rounds here, as both teams are just warming up. They had a little bit of false start at the beginning with the rehost, and that is something that is going to take you even longer to warm up because of that, because you start to get warmed up, get stalled out real quick. So I would say more closer to halfway point of this map is when we'll see both teams really firing on all cylinders, as they've only gotten 2 rounds in. But Nesk has been doing fairly well on this Ash play, stayed alive very long into that last round as well. He's looking to put some hurt on them again. This is something they need to be able to shut down. Perhaps Joystick could try and catch him out on a particular spot if he gets some idea how he's playing this attack, but he's actually getting very close to the actual site before anyone knows he's there. And with the amount of intel on the defender side, you'd think they would be able to catch him maybe a little bit earlier, just either do some barbed wire or the Maestro Evil Eyes. But Shockwave still playing his off-site play, much like last time on those stairs. Nesk just worried about getting dropped on from behind.
And that was the path that Joystick at least attempted to take in the back half of the round there when the side execute was coming from Liquid. It was that he wanted to rotate into Aquarium, and he did so by distracting Paula with the punch holes and making a quick escape towards the hatch. We just flipped away before we could see the result of the onslaught that was there, but I imagine Ness caught him off guard as he died rather quickly after we switched away towards the site execute. And once again, Liquid, midway through the round, not a lot of entry into the building other than Nesk's position inside of Office. And clearly, actually now he's backed all the way out CC, gone to Lambo and rotating over through Kitchen Hallway as a frag grenade will come out from Gohan and soar well wide of any intended target inside of Hookah.
It's always nice when Jaeger's banded. You know you don't have to worry about, have I cleared this, have I not? That really makes for much better frag grenade throws in terms of just going for it without needing a teammate there. But just the fact that it wasn't able to hit Joystick or the deployable shield just shows he didn't do good enough droning in terms of managing to have the right arc for that. So still wasted utility either way.
Split manpower right now for Liquid is a little fascinating. You've got two people stacked over by Office, you've got Nesk inside of Kitchen, you've got two people outside of Sunrise entrance. And okay, Nesk prepping the remote Ash launcher into a wooden barricade. That means everything is about to break loose in about 10 seconds. Here comes the skeleton key with the frag grenade in tandem with Nesk rushing straight through, but Six will get down to the Sunrise entrance door. More manpower on site now for Empire to try and repel this immediate abrupt push into sight. In behind the bar now, laying prone. There's two Empire defenders trying to counteract Sexy Cake and Zig from pushing in. They've already made it in on the entry. Actually, no, they're floundering around outside, but Ness breaking through. Paul will grab another one, cut down from behind by Shockwave. Still a 4v3 advantage. They're getting the plant down now by Zig. No time left on the clock. This is going to go into the overtime, and Joystick going for an extremely long run out. He's completely detected. It's a complete wipe for Liquid. Now establishing a lead. Two consecutive successful attacks on the Sunrise bar, and just not enough utility left on site again for Empire.
One thing I do like is with the Jaeger band, they're spending the time to coordinate a lot of their pushes based off of the smokes themselves coming out. And a lot of that coordination is with Nesk. We saw it in the very first round where they coordinated the smoke coming out just to kind of bait out the smoke himself to be facing away, give Nesk a free kill. Same thing here. Nesk, looking for his opportunity, did get the one kill, but when he went to go for the flank through Blue Bar, completely got cut off. So it's nice timing, great ideas on that, but Joystick's inability to do anything because he can't rotate fast enough late is really what's pushing him, because here's what they're doing in Liquid. Okay, we coordinate off the first set of smokes. That's when Nesk is going to do thing. Second set of smokes is when it's going to bait them out to come down for a retake rotate because they want to stop our smoke plants because just they don't have enough impact nades or other utility to stop it. That's exactly when they're cutting off those rotations back. You're getting into situations where Joystick's dying, for example, and it's smart play by Liquid. Bait them into those retakes, cut off their rotations, have that extra set of smokes so you can burn them for that, have the extra utility with the frag grenades as well because nothing's going to stop those, this time going with the sledge instead of the buck. And it's working fairly regularly. Now they can go back to Hookah because they've defended Bar twice. But will they be as successful this time? Because last time it was just down to the Echo play, which they are bringing out again this time. And it's going to be a little better prepared.
Our last time, and Joystick has now been droned out downstairs in Blue Bar.
Well, hopefully they focus some attention on him as he just distracts, because that will divert some attention from the actual push. But at the same time, they've got all 5 alive, so plenty they can do. And there we go with Karjeka already taking half his health, and then a grenade to finish him off.
Good nade there. Oh, a good peek from Shockwave, but he get immediately traded out. It's 2 for Liquid now, down to Shepard and Scyther. Scyther will fall. Shepard with one with the shotgun. Another 1v3 attempt, and he's got Diffuser down inside of Hookah, trying to play it close range. Shotguns on doorways for our second Toxic Bait will come out now. Try and delay the push in through the door. They still have the rotate at the top of Cool Vibe stairs to worry about. 15 seconds tick away. The last Toxic Babe again choking out the doorway. Here comes the rotate in the ping, and a beautiful shot by Shepard. Whips at the shotgun. In return, a pinch coming from both sides. Now gets one, but no! Paul on the vault. Rips right through with the F2. It's an extended lead now for Liquid. Up 3-1.
Great clutch attempt, though, by Shepard. The fact that he was able to get the diffuser down in there was a big mistake by Liquid, but the fact that there was also the ability for them to rotate around on him from 2 different positions, definitely a big problem for them. Only so much you can do. Great heads-up play, though, in getting the first kill and then rotating around, getting that second kill. But in the coordinated way that they were playing that, Liquid had the advantage, unfortunately.
You can see in the replay there, just a very unfortunate timing there for Joystick as he's standing up behind the bar, completely exposed to the Blue Bar window, and he's checking cams with about 20 seconds left. And honestly, Joystick has not had much impact on this game so far through 4 rounds. Granted, his Jaeger is banned. And
I think that's a big problem, and something that he's struggled with consistently is having his operators banned against him just because of lack of diversity of his operators.
That's kind of the story for Empire as a whole, is lack of diversity. They play typically the same 5 or 6 operators. Ooh, we got a Valkyrie coming in for Shockwave now. So we've seen a little bit of a flexing from Empire here, and that's also been a storyline for them through the first half of Season 9 of Pro League, is that they used to be a very 2-person-centric team, which was Joystick and Karjeka. Those were the carries. Team Empire has not lost coastline since last year's Invitational. Since then, they are 11-0 on the map. You gotta be kidding me.
They are certainly looking very good on it. Now, of course, keep in mind, it is very, very common when side switches to see the comeback from the other side. So even if Liquid go into the second half with a lead, there's a strong chance that Empire come back from it. And we've seen pretty much every one of Liquid's matches is go down to the wire, especially the ones against Market. So it is still a complete chance for Empire to take this back because they're only down 2 points. This is Liquid's map, though, so this is something they were hoping to. Now, of course, with that stat we just saw popped up, that also means there's a lot of VOD footage of Empire on it. And as you mentioned, lack of diversity means that they're just not changing up what they do too much, although the fact that they actually banned the Jaeger does mean there's something they have to deal with that is not a known quantity, in the sense that we don't necessarily know how Joystick's going to play that Vigil. It has left him alive a lot of the time. It's the fact that he's not being impactful. He's doing a very good job at delaying, which honestly is his job more often than not as a roamer. But it's the fact that he's not able to get some of those late flank kills that I think is really hampering the defense, because once Liquid goes into execute mode, we're just seeing too many kills come out from them in a row, and Empire not in positions to trade them back, not in rotatable positions to safely retake it. Maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need more of those impact nades, more rotations to be able to make those happen. But a good initial kill there by Gohan. Again, that Jaeger ban working out for them, again on Shepard.
That was a frag grenade coming sailing into Hookah, and that will remove Shepard from play again. The smoke of Shepard dispatched of before being able to use any utility at all. And now Gohan will repel on the Hookah window, aiming in again. You could acquire the same angle from the purple tarp or pink tarp, but that's a much more convoluted process to get up there, and I imagine Liquid are trying to look for simplicity, considering their time management still hasn't been great. They've been converting rounds in those flurry of kills at the end, but the time management still a little questionable.
This is a big deal spotting out the Echo, though, because they can start to put pressure on him. Any pressure put on him, even if it's just with pre-fired shots, will distract him from being on his yokai drone, which will give them the opportunity to plant much stronger. So they just need to keep tabs on him towards the end of that execute. If they could do so and have enough manpower, there's very little he could do without getting killed midway through using his yokai, because he's going to have no sound or other ways to tell if anyone's approaching him. Could just be a straight knife to the face. Here's Star to execute, but Scyther to trade one back as the defuse getting planted.
He coming out in a Nitro cell from Shockwave will stop the attempted plant, and now one downed is Paula in the hallway. A second one peeking from the same angle, and Ness gets 2. Karjeka will fall. It's down to Joystick and Shockwave on separated angles on opposite sides of the objective. Joystick still inside of Aquarium. The diffuser is down, though. Oh, what a great double peek there from Shockwave. That's 2 that'll fall in, leaving Gohan alone. Coming up, Cool Vibes will trade it out immediately. Joystick up against Gohan on opposite sides of the objective. Diffuser dead smack in the middle at the Hookah doorway. 3 fires go through from Gohan, revealing his position, and an attempted plant. Most likely a fake from Gohan, but no. Joystick too far away, and he'll get spotted out on the drones. Pre-fires to the wall will not connect, and Gohan will get the plant down, immediately evacuate out to the balcony, and hold the angle from the doorway. And Joystick, thinking about a vault out the big window, thought better of it, and will now rotate down hallway towards Cool Vibes' door of Hookah. Very wary of him playing anywhere in behind the benches. No connections yet, and there's no intel really here to be provided for Empire or Joystick to know where Gohan is outside, and this will be the easiest sound cue of Gohan's life. It'll be up to Joystick to bait it and know that he's close angle. Gohan plays it perfectly on the patience game. Liquid running away with this one on Coastline, up 4-1.
Gotta say, though, Shockwave's pick over 2 Valkyrie definitely made a huge impact in that round with that nice 3K that he got. Just much, much better play from him that round, at least more impactful. But again, the problem we're seeing with Joystick, too far away to rotate back. This is such a hard map, though, as I've often referred to it as the square donut, just the inability to rotate around very accurately without jumping through the middle, which is the donut part. That is gonna be the courtyard where you cannot rotate down and then back up. So you could rotate into it, but doing so costs you your verticality. So if you need to get back upstairs, you can't rotate through courtyard. And you saw what happened there. He was stuck over on the other side, couldn't rotate well. I mean, yeah, he could have rotated, I suppose, down Cool Vibes and tried to use that hole they had there. but it's still, that's a long run to make, and just their target ban against him really hurting Empire's play here on this map, and maybe this could be the first time we see it go down for them, just because every single time, despite how close these clutches have been, they've not been good enough, and it's something that just seems like Empire not figuring out where the last players are at the right time, but of course, the attacker's gonna have drones in position, whereas the defenders cannot do the same thing. And Empire smartly calling a timeout to try and stop any bleeding on their last round of defense. Better to call it now than before the side switch, so you could still do something about your defensive rounds based off what you learned from the first 5.
Just a quick explanation of the tactical timeout for anyone who is unaware back home, as I imagine we have a myriad of new viewers coming in because this is the biggest event of the year for Rainbow Six Siege. A tactical timeout is a 30-second pause during the op pick phase of a round. Each team can call 1 per map. In considering we're in a best-of-3 series, that would be 6 total, should they elect to use them all. They don't have to.
Yeah, and it didn't really lead to many operator changes other than Shockwave actually playing as the Valkyrie again this time. But other than that, no changes really from either side. I mean, for Liquid side, why should you be changing at this point? It's been working very well. No real variations on bomb sites here either. It's either hookah or bar. Consistently, they're trying both sides both times until they're forced to switch, which so far was only the one hookah win on step 1 of round 1.
5 seconds to go.
But I don't know, Empire seems to really be struggling to warm up to the way Liquid are playing. Liquid are playing just smart aggression in terms of their timing, and their inability to deal with the double sets of smokes coming out is going to continue to cost them. But the one advantage they have had is they managed to get the diffuser dropped in compromised positions a couple of times. Just not been able to execute off that in terms of having enough manpower left to do something about it, and a big part of that is Nesk. Nesk has been allowed to do pretty much whatever he wants on the map. They were talking during the pre-match analysis about how impactful Nesk is, and he's continuing to demonstrate that in this match here. They need to shut him down. There needs to be a joystick flank on the way he's playing to shut him down early, even if it costs him his own life in a trade. Doing that early enough in the round, honestly, would be probably enough to win them the round, just enough to tip in the scale, time management-wise, that Liquid can't get the execute through.
We also talked about that first round that they won, which was a 1v2 clutch by Scyther, and really only possible because of the Yokai drone's position and Liquid not spotting it out. Without that stroke of luck, it would be a 5-0, and for the first 5 rounds, it come down to a 1v1. So it's not like they're too far out of reach, and it's usually what it does come down to. About 30 seconds left and a 5v5 slaughter always comes down to the trades.
No. They need to get him back up, or that is going to be... They can execute so much faster if they can just finish him off.
Scyther down, currently down inside of Cubby downstairs, and responsible for both of those Yokai drones like we just talked about. Crucial for intel and late round plays to delay the plant attempt and possibly even deny it outright in the dying seconds. Shepard very worried though, very cautious, does not want to make a preemptive push without the information that he is safe, and he's very much not safe. Paula
might have to use a smoke just to cover that rotation. Well, in this case, he's not going to elect it. There we go. There's the smoke to cover the rotation. As the phone calls come out, he's hoping to be able to at least answer the call first, but Scyther being in such a bad position, he will have to stand up the minute he gets revived. That's really what's going to cost him, because yes, you can revive him crouched, but he's not going to stay in that position, and that could be enough to get the finish kill on him, because 50% health isn't a lot. Luckily, at least he's 3 armor. However, the grenade says otherwise. Shockwave at least trading 1 back on Pella.
At least the drones were already up at 45 seconds. Again, we enter a 4v4. Here come the phone calls, here come the skeleton key, here come the smokes, and again, it's this rapid push in from Liquid. Nesk will claim 1 on the joystick. Still can't find a kill to save his life now, and another one ripped through by Sexy Kate through the smoke. Karzeka going for a vault outside. Plenty of pings coming out on the walls, but he's wildly detected. Still able to find one though, but he's left alone now as his teammate Shockwave will fall. Nesk through the window as soon as it erupts, and that is Liquid running away again, taking a commanding lead after the first half. 5-1 on Coastline. The tactical timeout for Team Empire, seemingly unsuccessful at gathering themselves.
Yeah, this is going to be where they really need to shift that momentum. We saw how the 5-1 situation went for Noah Rengo in that last match. It pretty much turned from there into a 7-1 fairly quickly. Liquid, of course, picking this map does mean if they win it, it's not as big a deal, but as you saw with that stat, this is an undefeated map for Empire. So to lose it here on the big stage is all the more important, as opposed to just losing it in, say, a single Pro League match. So they're going to have to do something pretty significant on these attacks is they're not running with the glass strategy unless they go for it in a 6th pick here. They are still bringing the smokes. Nope, they're not going to be doing that, so they're going to have to execute a slightly different way. This is going to be bar again to start with, though. It seems like we're seeing a bit of a theme here. I do wonder if Hookah will be the secondary site for Liquid, although I imagine it will. Interesting that they started downstairs rather than up on their defense. And a Rook coming out for the first time here. Should be interesting. And what I'm surprised we didn't see from Empire, which is a combination of an Echo and Maestro.
I'll bring it up once again, just because it is quite interesting that a lot of these rounds have come down to 1v1s. That's 4 out of 6 now, as that last round was a 1v3 at the end. But it's always Empire trying to pull themselves back out of an extreme man deficit or just simply a 1vx.
Yeah, most of the initial kills are coming from Liquid.
Yeah, it's a situation where they start in a 1v3 or a 1v2 and they bring it down to a 1v1. That's how the round ends, but they're usually in a much more compromised position early on, and someone has to make a spectacular individual play to try and claw it back, and there just hasn't been that extra little step on the clutch factor for Empire to start things off on Coastline, and it seems like it's getting away from them.
Well, at least Empire are now able to play their preferred operators on this map. We'll see if that makes a difference, though, because they were not able to do so on defense, and that might have been a big thing that hampered them, as we mentioned how often Joystick wasn't able to make the rotations he needed. But either way, it is kind of down to the wire to do so. They needed to pull back at least one more round there to have a decent ability to, or a decent breathing room rather, because now they're 1 point away from match point. And once you're at match point, the pressure can get to a lot of teams because you cannot afford to lose any more rounds. So right now, that's all the breathing room they have, is they can lose 1 round on their attack, and that's it before they're out on this map. And then go to the next map. Joystick looking to see if he can at least get some leeway in. Does, I believe, at least spot him before he loses the drone, but they're gonna know he's coming. See if Shockwave can do any better here in getting his drone in without losing it. And nope, they're losing a lot of initial drones here just to get this intel.
Well, Scyther spotted out one of Zig's Yokai drones. Pre-fires from Karzeka, as I guess not enough intel towards the main lobby and CCTV hallways. Terrified of a flank coming through, but that'll be one Yokai dispatched of by Scyther as they push in for office. So, a little alteration to the way that Liquid were pushing this, but Paula still has these kill holes from above, and he's honestly waiting for anyone from Empire to try and push into the blue bar to rip them up from above. Rain terror down from through the floorboards, and it looks like Empire are falling into this. They have a 3-stack inside of office currently. Diffuser is upstairs with Shepard currently, and he'll make his way back down on the Dokkaebi, and it seems like it's going to come down to those final 30 seconds again with 5v5. Yeah,
a lot of them are pushing from different angles as opposed to the way that we saw Liquid try and push in from the doorway with smokes, but Paula already taken down Karzeka. It is going to be a bit of a, I'd say, delay here because they need to take top floor control. His ability to hold this here means, as you said, if they come in and take the bar like they're trying to from the bottom floor, it's just going to be death from above, just a rain of bullets to that point. They don't have enough smokes to be able to do a huge amount of coverage. They need to win this fight here against Paula.
Flashbang coming out from Joystick as he tries to push through and find some semblance of success in this game. More flashbangs ringing through, and Paula will avoid it narrowly, and in behind the couches will shut down Joystick. 2-man advantage, now returning to his kill holes as the smoke grenades come out, and an attempted plan coming out from Shepard. Watching the kill holes, Shockwave will take down Zig, but rushing through the smoke, we ripped up by the all. The diffuser is down, Shockwave is down, it's all up to Scyther in a 1v4, once again choking on the asphyxiating gas and rushing straight over. Sexy K shuts it down with the shotgun. It's match point on map number 1 for Liquid, dominating control on Coastline.
Something tells me Liquid just feel a bit more warmed up than Empire. This is like what we saw happen to Fnatic in terms of them just having kind of a slow start, seeming to struggle a lot. And I gotta imagine Empire are gonna need to kind of reset themselves between maps no matter how this goes. Even if they bring this back and win it, just the mentality reset that we've heard G2 talk about is something hugely needed here for Empire. You see just the frustration, the kind of muted frustration on their faces where they're just thinking about, oh God, guys, what can we do to bring this back? We can't afford to lose any more rounds. Paula there just being able to stay up there. And unfortunately, we've seen so many times players trying to rush in to hit that quarter, being caught off guard from someone behind the couch. He needed to follow up a drone much sooner on that. Losing those initial drones, I think, cost them quite a bit as well. And just the way they were trying to attack it from the bottom floor primarily was not going to work out in the end. I mean, I appreciate them trying to go from the blue bar side, but it just seemed completely read into by Liquid, especially with how long it took to execute on that, whereas we saw Liquid set up for a while first, and then just go smokes and then go heavy. Don't have the same thing from Empire. They're just hoping to win a lot of those frags. It's not happening. They need to do some serious work. They even had the advantage of taking down one of the Yokais early last round, still couldn't turn that into anything. So they are going to bring out the glass. Joystick is going to give that a go.
One of the biggest things here is just the lack of accumulation of intel for Team Empire. We talked about their simplicity in their op choices and their simplicity in their strategy, and there just doesn't seem to be enough information about where everyone on Liquid is playing. The fact that Paulo was upstairs for the entirety of the round looking through the same kill hole for almost 2 minutes and garnered 2 kills off that and a third on a rush. Empire really need to be collecting a lot more information and acting on it better. They need to be revising what they're doing mid-round because they stack up for one push, they don't gather the intel necessary to properly push through and assess the situation, and then they commit at the last second and Liquid just tears them up, and a nice attempt there from Joystick, who swapped over from the Ash to the Glads, but Sexy Cake rocking a Clash, the first one we've seen in this matchup.
Yeah, it's definitely something that was smart. It was something we've seen actually when Clash was first available, something Liquid did, specifically Sexy Cake, to much effect. He would stay in VIP as well as rotating to the door, doing a lot from there as well as playing from that window. His ability to deny any kind of ground to be gained from the windows, including on this VIP one that you can vault over, is a big difference maker in that, and they're not bringing any kind of Capitao or anything to be able to counter it. Zofia also was banned, something that they banned against Empire. This is really working out in their favor, so smart on Liquid to ban 2 operators that they would need here potentially, and them not being prepared to bring that Capitao because it's not something they just bring on this attack. Just really well stratted and read by Liquid. So kudos to Silence, who I imagine was part of that as well. This has definitely been Liquid really working out. Although Sensei, I guess, as well could be part of that too, now that I think about it.
Well, an Evil Eye spotted out in the depths of VIP in the back right corner, and it seems like everyone's just trying to figure out how to deal with it. And it's going to be Karzeka who's going to have to, unless Scyther wants to utilize one of his frag grenades for no reason. They're just judging if VIP is even safe to jump into. It's the barbed wire, you never know about kill holes playing down below, but Scyther did a good job of clearing out Kitchen solo as the self-droned Buck as he maneuvers around the map, but they just spot Ness going for a flank down theater stairs, and one going luggage, 2 going luggage now, as it looks like it's Paula and Ness both rotating, one vaulting courtyard, and Karzeka will just miss the shot on a falling bandit.
Well, they do know that some of them are going to have to rotate upstairs. They can take advantage of that. And a nice early kill there from Joystick, at least trying to make up a little bit of ground from the previous rounds. Unfortunately, just misses the Yokai drone. And he's going to have to try and catch that out, or it's going to be a problem for him. Could even just stun him to slow him down. Joystick moving towards site, already having to use one of those smokes. And the Clash is down. Now's the time to try and get that kill, because otherwise that's going to make it much harder to plant.
Oh my, turning back now is Ness. He's still standing. Scyther will finally fall due to a headshot, and Karzeka will take down Zig. Sexy Cake, though, has been revived as that shield lancing in through the smoke, but not a lot of bullets hitting. It's actually Gohan going down, so it's a 4v2 right now for Empire, and the plant will be completed now as it's a post plant in a good spot. A revive facilitated onto Gohan, but Ness will fall in turn. So once again, we stand at a 4v2 in the favor of Empire. The first real success on a round, but there goes Joystick down to the wall by the Alda as Gohan continues to sneak his way up through VIP hallway and challenge towards the big window. He's got one out on his balcony. He'll finish his kill onto Joystick, but Shockwave will immediately trade out Sexy Cake. The Clash on a rush with the full auto SMG9. Now holding the balcony, Gohan will rush straight into his death. Karzeka will stave off elimination, at least on map number 1 for Team Empire, and they will continue to fight on.
Well, Liquid finally losing another round is going to use that timeout to decide, okay, we didn't prepare for Joystick on that glass. We weren't exactly anticipating the moves like that. They were rotating off very quickly because, okay, they figured, well, we're getting a lot of pressure from this glass top 4, so we're going to rotate down. And then they rotated down into Joystick, completely punished them for that. Sex Cake getting down early, I think, really put a crimp in their plans as well. Yes, they didn't finish him off till the very end, but the fact that he was able to, or the fact that he was down early meant they could start pressuring a lot more without him just completely denying their map control in doing so. Even the fact that they didn't finish off Joystick or didn't know that they, right away, that they downed him, as opposed to just coming around the corner super carefully like they were, being on a 1 speed already, completely slowed down Maestro's ability to try and clutch that out. But also them getting that plant down when they did, I think made a big difference with that man advantage. I think at this point, they're just looking for any opportunity to close this out. This is the right time to call the timeout. It's just, okay, we only lost 1 round. All we have to do is win 1. Let's really think about, okay, everything we can do to just shut them down. And you see that there, Zig actually maybe getting too hard of a hand slap. Hopefully that doesn't impact his play. His poor mouse hand. Joystick potentially gonna play on that glass. Looks like he's still unconfirmed on it. There we go. Nesk is going to be the one to use the 6th pick over to that dock. So they will not have the cameras, but they may have a bulletproof camera. And we'll see in just a second. And they do. So they will at least have one camera from him. So I suppose one bulletproof see-through smoke one versus the other 3. That's not too bad of a trade-off. Plus his ability to play on that ACOG is going to be important.
Bomb located by attackers.
And the new jammer as well going to deny some of those drones getting in. On what is the first kitchen defense we're seeing here. Should be interesting to see how impactful that is. As Glaz does get quite a few openings into this through delivery as well as through the window, so they've got to be very careful not to fall prey to that, because even coming around from the bar side, they're going to have to maintain control of this Sunshine bar if they want to be able to make it through this defense.
5 seconds to go.
See a lot of rotations and manipulation of the Sunrise bar and blue bar walls by Gohan, trying to facilitate some more flanks that Liquid could possibly pull off if they can make it all the way through CCTV without being caught off by Team Empire with any flank holds. And it seems like main entrance is the most common spawn of the day, as Empire will 4-stack over here and move their way in towards service entrance as Karzeka ducks away from the wooden barricade, and Scyther trying to establish where Zig's Echo drones are once again. It's a constant battle back and forth between the two as he can find the Yokais and he can keep them hidden in indestructible places the longest.
Yeah, having the Echo here is something that Liquid just didn't seem to want to do, and I think it's something that will benefit Empire quite a bit on this attack as well, because once you can get in with those smokes, it is something you can go for a plant fairly quickly if you know where those Yokais are, because if you don't, you're pretty much a strong chance you're not going to make it through that plant alive, especially with C4s in play along with smokes. So they're definitely going to have to get some good intel and save those phone calls as well for good time. And unfortunately, Scyther, ironically enough, getting hit by the drone he's trying to find.
He's able to take it out, and I wouldn't want to be Paula right about now. He's being collapsed on by about 4 attacking members of Team Empire. Looks like Joystick is the only man not in on this hunt of Paula upstairs, playing the top of theater stairs. He initially had positioned himself inside a theater, but lots of pings and information coming out from that Yokai, and now he's at the top of the theater stairs. He vaults over successfully and will make it down to the main lobby. Shepard will give chase, but understands that A, he doesn't have a fully automatic weapon that's relatively controllable, and B, he carries diffuser, so he'll think twice about it, give the call to the rest of the team, relay the information, and try and clamp down on them with a double push.
Yeah, Shockwave trying to use that grenade to follow it up, unfortunately just didn't find it. Paul at least forced off top floor, though. That is something they struggled with the previous round, so that will at least be a boon for them, but Scyther taking a bit of damage on this. He's gonna have to be careful to make sure he can spot out any leftover Gavin. 6 kick down, but I don't know if they know it. Breaching charge is gonna open up the floor and give them the potential to finish him off. At least for now, though, him being down, the Echo being down is a big play, but Sexy Cake getting picked back up is almost like a trade.
Scyther will eliminate Zig, and once again, the Echo will be the first to fall on the side of Liquid, not unlike Team Empire's Smoke falling first multiple times over. And Karzeka, again, will continue to rip up the floor, and it sounded like a nitro cell detonated just errant on the feet of Karzeka. They'll still evacuate the floorboards and provide another peek hole for Karzeka to utilize as he continues to push everyone out, but there goes Paul on that flank. They were unable to clamp down on him upstairs. Shepard just going for the plant inside of service. Only the cover is Joystick right now through the smoke, sitting a lot of metal bars, but Karzeka will take down Sexy Cake after he's revived. Shepard evacuates out of the kitchen service door, but what a shot by Paul as he goes for the run out Lambo. Scyther will immediately trade out Nesk on a flank. Shot to the floor from Gohan. He'll clean it with a shotgun. Down to a 2v2. This could be the clutch to win the entire map for Liquid. Karzeka and Shepard coalesce outside the service door, trying to get up on this planter. Shepard is in the MK14 at long range, and they got to be wary of a long arm. And it looks like they are trying to stick the long arm right now. Paul will take down Karzeka as he's running outside, but he doesn't know that Gohan is defusing. No, Gohan pulls off! And Shepard at the dying seconds.
If he had not pulled off that diffuser there, I think he might have pulled off the round.
He had it.
Just
he 100% had it.
Yeah, the timing there. I gotta say though, a little bit of misplay and miscoordination there between Joystick and the planter in terms of him running right in his line of sight, right as someone was running cross as well. Could have been a free kill for Joystick, might have turned man count advantage in their sight, and also might have not set him up to get picked off because he would have been maybe paying a little more attention, but either way, it cost them a lot to get that diffuser planted. It was absolutely worth it. Nice jump out there by Paula. Just, yeah, their inability to take Paula out seems to be something that's really a problem for Empire. They need to be, just him and Nesk seem to be the ones that are able to get away very often. Again, a situation where they didn't finish off Sexy Cake, where they get him down and cannot finish the job. That's twice now. But either way, they still win the round. This is the comeback we were talking about when they switch sides. But either way, this still feels like they're just right on the edge of losing this map every time. It never feels like a dominant comeback or a sweep. I gotta say, I'm not really confident that Empire could bring this back enough to get to overtime because we are at 6 points for Liquid. Liquid either win or go to overtime. Empire have to go to overtime to win.
Still need another 3 consecutive after you've got 2 back-to-back rounds. And it's a good start to get some momentum back on your side if you're Empire. And honestly, even if they don't end up winning the map, which is highly unlikely at this point, as you said, they've at least got things back in their corner. They're picking up momentum heading into the second map. All it takes is one mistake for Team Empire to lose this map. You're not really too upset about that after the run you can go on here and acquire some rounds should you end up losing.
Also, the stressful aspect of that is even if you make it to overtime, the coin flip might not be on your side. Might give Liquid the 2 defenses, which would put them in an advantage, although we do often see sometimes that switch when it comes to the overtime. Either way, with how dominant defense has been, or I'm sorry, attack has been, so it would be the 2 attacks, then it'd just be a case where it could really hurt even in overtime. You don't get the favorable side. And then Empire would just have to really reset, move on to the next map at that point. You'll see them, ooh, a nice early kill on the Gohan. That's the mute down. That is a C4 off the board, not to mention the SMG-11. That is going to be a good early pick there. Fortunately, it's not Paula, who's been more of a pain for them, but still going to help things out big time. Although it does leave Karjeka wondering if someone's going to try and repeat it, and they're not.
Well, that also will leave a cell phone exposed outside for Shepard should he want to go and hack the cameras of Team Liquid's defense. And the good thing is that you still have a Nitro cell in the back pocket of Zig, who has swapped off the Echo role, seeing basically no success with it. So an alteration here for Liquid to try and lock things out. And Empire again get off to a good start, but Paula, reactionary, takes down Shockwave as his phone rings out in his back pocket. He's got Neskin support downstairs in office right below him. And again, Paula continues to be the thorn in the side for Team Empire that they cannot remove.
Well, at least Joystick's still alive in this case. Even if he doesn't do any damage, just the threat of the glass is a huge impact on attack. We saw how well it worked for Liquid. Joystick, though, just not landing enough shots in this match to really be as big of a threat as we saw from them. But either way, still important here. But it is unfortunate to see Shockwave go down again. Seems to be what Operator is playing seems to affect things a bit more than that. And Buck just not working out great for him. Scyther, though, going to have to do what he can to at least spot Pulse if possible, on that heartbeat sensor. And that is going to be Zig playing that. This is coming down to some potential 1v1 soon with only a minute left.
Karjeka again, still trying to rip the floorboards above and dissuade any anchors from playing in those favorable positions. Inside of Kitchen behind kegs at the rotate. Joystick throwing out a smoke just to go for the roam clear, and Paula will evacuate his position in behind the bar and playing with fire right there as Paula as he makes it down the Cool Vibe stairs just narrowly, and Zig on 1 HP inside a bathroom. Nesk avoiding a hailstorm of bullets descending from above, and Liquid getting away with their lives at their shoestrings right now.
This is not looking good because Empire are spending all the time upstairs. Yeah, they've got upstairs control, but they're not necessarily near a plant yet. Joystick needs to get up some position. You see him rotating with the pistol, trying to get over to position in time as Shepard's going for that plant, but it's predictable. Karjeka needs to implement so much pressure now.
Frag grenades coming into the common, rotates, and Joystick is pushed all the way into bathroom. Karjeka will clean one with the nade as well into Sexy Cakes, and now it's down to a 2v4. Nesk and Paula working out as Shepard is completing the defuse, but Paula will grab one in the process. That's the glass down once again. 2v3. Paula and Nesk now in the 2v3 to try and win the map in the same post-plant situation. Nesk, instead of going for the run out, will most likely stand, and if he has a stim pistol, he has 3 stim pistols remaining. He could try and juice up Paula, but it looks like they're just going to stand and fight. Karjeka will jump in the kitchen window in behind. This could be the perfect flank as no one on Liquid is even remotely aware of this, and Karjeka will gun down one. Twisting in the wind with nowhere to go is Nesk, and Empire continue the run back, 6-4.
Well, this is exactly the mirror of what we saw. On the defensive side, Empire won their first round in this case. It looks like Liquid winning their first one is just kind of flip the curse, really. Also, I got word that we aren't using the coin flip system essentially for the overtime. If it does go to overtime, they will actually get to choose. I believe, if I understood correctly, Empire would be on defense in that case, which has not been the favorable side. But either way, this is on Empire to bring it to that point. They've got to win 2 more rounds just to get to overtime. And then, of course, as you mentioned earlier, they've got to win 2 rounds on that. So essentially, they need to win 4 more rounds to take this home, even if those 4 aren't completely in a row. At least the first 2 need to be. And then the last 2 after that need to be in the overtime. We will see the glass coming out again, but it looks like Shockwave realizing, yeah, his operator picks do matter. Maybe gonna pick something else. Nope, he's gonna 6-pick right over to Buck. But the Maestro coming out here from Gohan, and that is going to leave Paula on the Rook again for this bar defense. Now this is what worked for them last time. Paula sitting upstairs for this defense. They needed 2-man pinch him. Sending up Joystick alone or someone else to try and fight him first did not work out. Paula has been a pain every single round for Empire. Kill him early and you will get an advantage here. Maybe down Sexy Cake and this time finish him early and you will have an advantage. That is something they have not been able to do either time yet. However, that being said, they have managed to win these rounds. So it is entirely possible they break it back. Some of that is down to just good plants coming out from Shepard. He seems to be able to consistently use his own smokes without having necessarily the 4 because Joystick's using his somewhat separately. So that is not going to help Gohan's play here.
No, takes a couple pellets point blank to the chest. And if you're Liquid here, you don't really want to be losing composure, but we've seen throughout the group stage that Gohan is quite an animated player. Quite the emotional and emotionally invested man into this game.
Well, when you're on match point, you really need to shake that off quickly. Yeah, 7 out of 10 plants is very impressive. And again, that is down to the amount of smoke being played, especially when it's Glazzy 4 smokes every time. This map is just, it's a smoke city, and it makes sense when you've got a bomb site like Hookah that smoke would be important.
Yeah, it feels like early 2018 all over again with the attacking side dominance on Coastline, which is quite atypical to what we're used to these days. A frag grenade coming out from Shockwave, and it'll detonate far away from Gohan as he rips down the Cool Vibe stairs to safety, as that initial droning will push him off his intended position. You see all these rotates, the reinforcements, the utility investment into Hookah here for Liquid as they try and lock things out. And last time, they had a healthy amount of C4s. They still have one on the side of Nesk. This time, you're cracking open the Maestro and the Echo with a Valkyrie. You're acquiring the most amount of information you can possibly have on the defensive side. One
thing I've noticed from the attackers of Empire is they tend to ping with their drones a lot. The big problem I have with that is they're giving away that they've droned someone to the defenders, and they're rotating off those positions quickly. Joystick, do not fall for the couch play again if he's back there. He's going to try and use a smoke early to get this kill, but unfortunately for him, he's not there. And that's really going to continue to be a problem here, as Paula does still continue to be that pain, and Joystick isn't ready to pick him out just yet. There we go, through the couch.
Just a missed assignment there by Joystick, and he'll get downed upstairs with no one really close to facilitate a revive and save him. I imagine that was by Nesk on the flank over by VIP, and Scyther is stacking. He's got a nice pixel angle in towards the bar, and you can see a couple attackers for Team Empire now relocating. As Karzeka wants to save his duo, and the pre-fires on the default camera will intimidate Gohan from rotating back out through the theater doorway. Shepard has now ascended into Aquarium to try and rescue Joystick, but he's bleeding out. Nesk will clean it. There goes the Glaz once again, so leave it in a 3v4 for Empire. Gohan low on HP, but Empire with 45 seconds remaining, extremely split up. Not a lot of cohesion, extreme separation for all of the remaining attackers on Empire, and they still have to facilitate site execute.
Yeah, and this is the big problem with the Glaz down. They don't have a threat anymore in terms of peeking into the smoke, because it is the Dokkan that's going to be planting for that smoke. In doing so, that's the only other DMR going to be down at the moment, so they're going to have to try and cover it as best they can when he tries to go for that. He's got one phone call left, and Karzeka does manage to put man advantage in their favor. They need to finish off Gohan, though, before they can securely get this play down, but 13 seconds to do it.
Shepard's still apprehensive about moving into blue bar. Karzeka holding the flank, and Scyther's still above, and he'll be in contention with Nesk, it looks like, top floor. Both rushing in. Sexy King will rip through one. A trade. 2 kills for Empire now. Karzeka is putting down the plant, and Nesk downstairs rushing through. There's no cover. Scyther is nowhere to be seen. Turning to the corner. Nesk will shut it down. And Liquid in the dying seconds again will close out Coastline.
Just a few more seconds there. Maybe even just one more second would have been enough to get that down. He likely would have watched the door immediately. Still might have lost that fight, but either way, it is a down to unfortunate timing. Running directly in there for that plant. Like I said, lack of coverage, lack of threat from the Glaz ultimately cost them. Joystick losing that fight. Unfortunately, to Nesk early on. Just their inability to clear out a lot of the particular thorny players on the roams. I gotta say, a much more effective roam play overall in terms of being impactful coming out from Liquid helped win them the map. Empire were just squeaking by in a lot of those plays, much more so than Liquid, but this was Liquid's map pick, and they showed why. Finally, Empire fall on Coastline.
Scyther just a little too